What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another installment of Ask PJ Braun here at Blackstone Labs.
It is Tuesday. We usually record on Thursday for a Friday podcast, but to my dismay, one day you may dismay the way I am right now, everyone is leaving tomorrow except for me. For some reason, I'm not on the same trip as everybody to the Arnold. Not sure why. Perhaps they thought I wouldn't be interested in being a part of the first day.
We have to go set up the booth.
I like setting up the booth, though, and I thought that was known, but...
I don't know. I had no idea.
I don't know who books the trips.
I've also never set up a booth either, so...
Yeah. I like being a part of that, but I guess I'm not, so...
Well, then maybe I'll enjoy being a part of it since you're not.
It's cool to see everything before anybody's there, because you can't see shit when everybody's there.
Did we get the gargoyles for this show, or no?
I don't know. I think we might have.
The gargoyles didn't have your face on it, though.
No, they didn't.
Do we really need gargoyles if they don't have your face on it?
It is 5:48, and I wanted to be leaving by this time, and instead I'm doing this for you guys because if there's one thing I hate, it's when things don't go according to plan, and this day has not gone according to plan. But I'm not going to be a grouch about it. We only have 6 questions because I didn't even get a chance to let everybody know that we're going to do it 2 days early because I simply did not know.
All right, and we will just get kicked off with the first one, which is Trojan horse equals mudslides. Richard Mayer says, "Hi PJ, I was on Chosen 1, Brutal Force, Metha, Gear Support, and Growth for the last 4 weeks. Now I'm on Paraburn, Apex Male, PCT, Trojan Horse, and Growth. I'm a consistent morning pooper. I wake up, pop a Paraburn and a PCT, take my dog for a 20-minute walk, and poop. It is usually always a solid poop. Now ever since switching from the muscle building stack to the fat burning stack mentioned in my first paragraph, my poops have all been consistently mudslides. I sometimes am cleaning my butt cheeks and dragging my dog back to the house as fast as possible to make it to the toilet. My diet has not changed. Same foods I normally eat, which makes me think it's the new supplements. Does this sound like a possible side effect of the fat burn stack that I am taking? Is it just a shock to my body? Will this continue for the rest of the stack? Help! I didn't even add any Metamucil to my Trojan horse like you suggest. Can you imagine if I had? Sorry, not sorry for the gross topic, Richard Mayer."
Well, since you didn't change your diet at all, then it has to be something supplemental. Don't take Metamucil. My only theory is that perhaps the cayenne pepper in the Paraburn is upsetting your stomach and making you go to the bathroom more.
Just loosening everything up in there?
What I would suggest is give it another, I would say, 5 to 7 days max. Make sure you're drinking enough water. I'm not sure if, like, by mudslides you mean diarrhea or just soft. But it's got to be from one of those two things. If it's tolerable, just
run through it.
Get a bidet, get some wet wipes. If it's not tolerable, then you're going to have to get off of the products. The only thing I could think of is perhaps something to do with the cayenne pepper and the Paraburn.
I mean, if it's not tolerable and you stay on it, more power to you.
Yeah, if you weren't pooping, that would be a bad sign because nothing's coming out.
Yeah, that ain't good.
It is still coming out, so I'm sorry that you're getting those mudslides.
That's just a hilarious term, though. I've never heard that before.
Mudslides.
Next question is a 5,000-mile bicycle ride, breaking a world record. Hi, PJ. My name is Jacob Moore, and I'm a self-proclaimed adventurous and philanthropist. I'm a collegiate wrestler for Wabash College and D3 school in Indiana. After graduating, I joined the Peace Corps where I was sent to Cameroon, West Africa. I spent 3 years as an agricultural volunteer, and for the past 2 years have been starting a nonprofit Scholarshop Africa. Scholarshop is an innovative conditional supply transfer program that gives students the opportunity to earn the school supplies they need through community service, academic improvement, and healthy lifestyles. You may find out more information by clicking on the link below. The question I would like to ask are regarding my bike trip. I'm currently taking Dust, Formula 19, in isolation to prepare for the 5,000 plus miles. However, this week I have begun working out twice a day. A hard 20 to 30 minute air-dyne ride in the morning, burning between 175 to 400 calories, and then a lift in the afternoon or evening. Should I be taking the supplements twice a day along with both workouts, or just once per day, and when? The second question is, I plan on riding between 70 to 80 miles a day from Seattle, Washington to Los Angeles, California, across Route 66 to Tulsa, Oklahoma, Washington, D.C., and finally up to New York City. Obviously, I will be burning a lot of calories and will need to replenish during the ride. Which foods and fruits do you recommend I take to refuel my body during the trip? Which foods or fruit should I eat immediately after finishing for the day? And lastly, what food should I eat first thing when I wake up to gear my muscles for another grueling day? During the trip, I'm planning to unofficially break 2 Guinness World Records, too expensive to expedite the application form, and officially try to break the Guinness World Record for the longest journey on an electric bike. I'm going to be advertising Blackstone Labs and your products through my blog, which I will relaunch on March 1st and on my social media. I would be glad to answer any questions if you would like to know more about my organization, the trip, or how I plan to break the world records. If you would like to meet me in person, I will be able to see you at the Arnold Classic. We can discuss more in depth. Thanks, Jacob Moore.
So it's an electric bike?
I mean, I think that the overall feat is just to be on a bike for that long. It would suck to have to pedal those 5,000 miles. Could you imagine pedaling 5,000 miles?
No, but I feel like that makes the record so much more unique because, like, if you were pedaling 5,000 miles, you would need a lot of Formula 19.
There's not enough Formula 19.
In my head, I'm processing, like, how much Formula 19
you need like a backpack filled with 2 5-gallon jugs of Formula 19 that were just fed into your mouth constantly while you ride.
You just have to pre-mix it is what I was thinking and just have...
Pre-mix in a 5-gallon jug?
Yeah. Just have one of those camel things that you suck on? Yeah. Could you now that I know that it's electric, that's like, isn't that like kind of like just like going on like a moped across the country?
Just picture you're driving the Ferrari down the road. All of a sudden, little motorized bicycle comes passing you in traffic. Dude's got a 5-gallon drum of Formula 19 strapped to his back with the sticker on it.
This is truly unique. Please come and meet me at the Arnold Classic so we can talk about...
Bring the bike?
Yeah, bring this bike.
So we can all ride it.
Is it like one of those electric razors that they sell now?
I don't know.
That would make it impressive.
Is it solar powered? Like...
I just want I was following along. I was strategizing until you got to the electric bike part.
And then you were just thrown way off.
Can you use a gas-powered bike? Does the record still count?
See, that's the thing is, like, I feel like I've seen these types of bikes before, and I feel like it's one of those ones where you don't have to pedal and it'll keep going, but if you pedal, you charge it.
Oh. Maybe he should do it on a Segway. I bet nobody's gone across the country on a Segway before.
That's some rough terrain. On a Segway. Somewhere out there in fucking Oklahoma.
So my advice to you, now that I know that you're not going to be burning a lot of calories... Now that I know that you're going to be coasting across the country on an electric bicycle, is well, as far as your training goes in preparation for this feat of electric biking, I think that you should absolutely bookend your workouts and your bike training with the Formula 19 and with the with the way that you are. You should also add in the BCAAs, and that's something that I would keep on your journey. So like when you're just electricing along and you feel like you're getting a little sleepy or whatnot, just make sure you're taking in those BCAAs. You're gonna be sitting, I guess, for a long period of time. You might cramp up a little bit.
Do you get sleepy on a bike?
I feel like you would get more sleepy on an electric bike because you're doing
maybe on electric, yeah. You're just sitting there kind of getting bored.
Yeah.
I mean, scenery is whatever, but...
Bring some video games.
Yeah, right? Like virtual reality.
Yeah, me and you are going to talk about this one at the Arnold when I meet you. I'm fascinated by your electric bike. And I am wondering if we can have like a co-record together if I do it on a Segway.
I'm really interested to find out if he made the bike, if it's like a Tesla bike. Like, where did you purchase it? Was it built?
It's like a soapbox.
Yeah.
But electric.
Or like when, they used to have like the race car derbies and like the kids would like build a car with their dad and run it down the hill.
Yes, it's exactly like that.
He just like built it himself.
But it's got like a little electric battery in it.
So he wants to know what foods and fruits he should eat during, before, and after. Again,
my answer is being swayed by the fact that I know that the bike is electric now. So if you were pedaling the whole time, like a lot of my guys that do Ironman competitions and stuff, they straight up eat like cookies and shit. Like they eat like big ass chocolate chip cookies and
they do that insulin spike.
And they do that sludge shit. It's like who makes it? Power Bar used to make one. I think Gatorade makes one. It's basically just sludging sugar into your mouth.
Huh.
And it's just you're burning it all off because you're doing so much. So I don't know what you really burn on an electric bike. I don't even know shit about electric bikes, to be honest with you. Like the electric bike thing is gonna be something that I Googled tonight.
Like we said, just bring it by so we can ride it.
Yeah, please bring it to the Arnold.
Are you riding it to the Arnold?
Are there pedals on the electric bike?
I feel like there has to be, because like how else would you balance? Like imagine riding a bike with no pedals, even if it was going on its own. Like
how fast does it go? Does it say how long this is gonna take him to do?
70 to 80 miles a day.
It only goes 70 or 80 miles a day, then it must be going slow as fuck.
Isolation, 5,000 plus miles. Yeah, and I don't know, man. We're gonna have to talk to this guy extensively in person.
Let's just say that you're a marathon runner, right?
We might have to do an interview.
Let's say you're a marathon runner, and I don't know. Let's just say your average mile time is like 8 minutes a mile, right? In the beginning, at least.
Right.
So that means if you go for an hour, you're going to get what? You're going to get 8 miles. 8 times 8, right? Basically, you're going to about 8 miles.
Yeah.
So you could run 8 miles a day.
Right.
So if you're an electric thing that's doing the work for you, I feel like it's at the very least triple that, right?
Well, I mean, figure if you can go 8 miles a day and he can go 70 to 80 a day, he's doing 10 times that.
It just still doesn't seem like all that much, which makes me feel like he must be pedaling.
It doesn't seem like as much because of the word electric.
If you were on a motorcycle, a gas-powered motorcycle, you could go 70 or 80 miles in an hour.
Right. Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, I feel like he's got like a little like a baseball card to the back wheel, make it sound like a motorcycle, like, you know.
He is certainly a adventurist, that's for sure.
Well, it says right there, adventurous and philanthropist.
Yeah,
right there.
I got to meet this guy. Please come meet me at the Arnold.
All right, next question is from Lino Rodriguez. It says, "What up, PJ? My name is Juan Carlo from Danbury, Connecticut. I have been using your products for close to 2 years now. That combined with the ketogenic diet has changed my body and mind in ways I never thought imaginable. Time to take it up a notch, though. Gonna start a cycle of 500 milligrams a week of Test C for 16 weeks. How much Arimidex should I take during cycle, and how much Novadex post should I continue? And should I continue Arimidex post? Should I throw Clomid in there, or can I just take PCTV with Apex Male? Also, how soon after first pin should I start Arimidex, and how soon after last should I start PCT? Oh yeah, asking for a friend."
Ha! Tell your friend I said what's up. I'm about to help him out. And you too, if you're going to do it as well. Just do the Arimidex right out the gate. Just take it every other day. If you want to start conservative, do a 0.5 milligram every other day and just see how you do with it, okay? You should have no issues with that. If you feel like you're getting a little puffy in your nipples or something like that, then go up to 1 milligram every other day and you'll be absolutely fine there. That's taking it more aggressive, but you might as well just start with it, or at the longest, wait a week before you add it in, because you're doing a slow-acting ester. It's going to take a week for it to kick in anyway. Now, as far as what you're doing post-cycle, I always ran Arimidex post-cycle. I never ran Novadex post-cycle. Can you run Novadex? Yes. If you're going to go Novadex, I would run 20 milligrams before bed. I think you should absolutely do Clomid. If you were not doing injectable testosterone, I would say just do the PCT and Apex Male. And there's a good chance you could be okay with PCT and Apex Male, but if you can get Clomid, get enough to do 50 milligrams in the AM and PM for the first 3 weeks, about a week after your last shot, and that'll make a big difference. And I would run the Arimidex your entire PCT. So if you're going to PCT for 30 days or 40 days, make sure you're running the Arimidex every other day that whole time, and you'll be fine.
All right, next question is sodium and water manipulation. It says, "The last podcast I asked a question concerning carbing up in order to come in full for the after pictures in the BPJ contest. I was also wondering how to manipulate water and sodium in the final days in order to come in dry and hard as well as full. Could you please give a somewhat simple approach to water loading and depleting, as well as sodium manipulation leading up to the final pictures? As always, much appreciated, Z."
So this question is something that I feel that I'm very, very well versed in at this point, because of all the times that I've tried different procedures in my own shows, all of the athletes that I've brought to the stage. I've done it all, and I've found a recipe for success for most people. Now, for starters, I hate diuretics. I do not think that you should be getting into any kind of strong loop diuretics like Diazide, Lasix, anything like that. I think that more harm than good happens when you do that, and a lot of the tricks that you see people doing at the end are tricks to combat the negative sides of what's happening with diuretics. So let's just say that we're going to do this without diuretics. Now, if you're somebody that's really concerned and you feel like perhaps psychologically you'll feel better if you're doing some sort of diuretic, I would prefer you go the mild, natural route. And you can start this earlier in the week on like a Wednesday for a Saturday show. And there's 2 ingredients that work great: dandelion root and uva ursi. You take them together, and they will make you go to the bathroom a lot more. You can take 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C each meal. You'll be flushing that. You can eat asparagus at all your meals, and you'll keep flushing that. All these things will help you to naturally eliminate water. Now I'm going to take you through a last week of prep for me. So when I'm 2 weeks out, that's my hardest week. That's my brutal week of suffering. I suffer myself down that 2-week mark to the 7-day mark, right? And what I do is my hardest workouts, I burn up everything I have, I bring my calories down. And I bring them down to where I'm in sort of like what we consider a depletion phase that Friday, which would be 7 days out, that Saturday, that Sunday, right? Now, depending on how I look Monday morning, depending on what I think I need to suffer out of my body, I would typically go to Tuesday, right? So you're really suffering at this last point, but you're empty. And you kind of want to be empty, but you want to also pay attention to yourself that you're not taking it too far and flattening out, because then you have to do more to come back. I always made sure that I was ready or that my athletes were ready 2 weeks out so that you don't have to do anything weird. You don't have to make it do or die every day. You want to be ready in advance. So 2 weeks out, I'd have a good idea of what I looked like, and I figured, okay, I can probably increase this by 5 to 10% and be a little crisper just based on going through a little bit of a depletion. So let's just say everything goes according to schedule, and by Tuesday, you're totally depleted. Now, what I would usually do is put some fats back in. Depending on how flat I was, maybe I put fats in every meal, and I always did easy to process fats like olive oil. However, the last meal, which would be my meal before bed, where you're gonna be fasted for a while, I would always do red meat because it stays with you longer and will help you to not be so empty when you start your carb up. I would typically start my carb ups on Wednesday. Wednesday would always be a moderate carb up. So when I start my carb up, I also increase my water. So let's just say I was drinking a gallon to a gallon and a quarter a day. That Wednesday, I'd be at a gallon and a half or a gallon and 3/4. I would increase it by, 20, 25%. And that is going to do two things. Number one, it's going to help you glycogen load because that extra water is going to help lock everything into your muscles with that glycogen. And number two, the excess water is going to keep your body flushing. So you're getting the best of both worlds. You should absolutely never remove sodium. When you remove sodium, nothing positive happens. So leave your salt exactly how it is. If you've been using table salt, keep on using table salt. If you've been using seasonings, keep on using seasonings. Now, if you have not been doing that stuff, by no means should you be spiking it or doing more with it. Your body is very smart. It's figured out how to be how it's been the whole time. You probably wake up looking dry and nasty in the morning. You're just going to be a little bit more dry and nasty than that on show day. To try to think that you can do some sort of dramatic change just based on changing your food and your sodium and water is not only is it unrealistic, it's foolish. A lot of people will be like, oh, I ate a burger and fries and I looked crazy. No, you really didn't though. Psychologically, you felt full and you probably got veins coming out, but if you turned around, you probably were softer in your ass and hamstrings, and that's just hormonally the way that things work. So when people say like, oh, I filled out so much more, yeah, you usually smooth over when you fill out too. Like when you're on stage, you're never going to feel full. And if you do feel full, you're usually not going to win because you're not conditioned enough. When you're super conditioned, you feel empty and dead. That's just the way it is. You're not going to feel good. So when that Wednesday starts and you start carbing up, let's just say for math purposes, you're having 50 grams of carbs per meal. I always reduce the protein. So if I was eating 8 ounces of protein a meal, I cut it in half and I go to 4 ounces. Reason being, you're not working out anymore at that point. You're just carbing up. You don't need the extra protein sitting in your stomach. You really just want those carbs coming in. Now, a little trick that you can do, this will make a big difference. A lot of guys, they start going crazy eating all these carbs, right? And what happens is they actually elevate their metabolism a little bit and they start losing weight. Now, you can combat this as well as make yourself stay satiated longer by adding fats to the meals. So reduce the protein, but add a tablespoon of, let's say, extra virgin olive oil or a nut butter to the meals, and those carbs will stay with you more efficiently, and you won't have to eat ridiculous amounts. Like I talk to these guys that carb up, eating like 1,000 grams of carbs a day. I mean, that's just ridiculous. I was doing like 300 grams. Now, you basically have your day one, which is your base day, and on Thursday, you assess what you look like in the morning, and you decide, do I need to have more carbs? Do I need to have less carbs? But you keep the water higher. In fact, I would actually even push it even a little bit higher on Thursday, and then Friday would actually be my biggest water day. So if I was doing a gallon and a quarter earlier in the week, and on Wednesday I was doing a gallon and a half, by Friday I was doing 2 gallons. And I would try to have those 2 gallons in my body by 12 hours before stage time. So if stage time was 9 a.m. the following Saturday, I would have that 2 gallons in by 9 o'clock that night. Then I would just sip a little bit until I went to bed for 2 reasons. One, you want to get it in early. And 2, you don't want to be pissing all night long. You want to actually sleep before the show because quality sleep is going to make your physique look that much better. An unrestful sleep will actually make your body hold on to the water more, which you don't want. When you get into a deep REM stage of sleep, your body will eliminate anything more. You should poop when you wake up in the morning. You should feel good. If you're not resting, you're going to throw your whole system off. So no sodium loading, no sodium removal. No ridiculous, oh, I'm going to do 2 gallons of water today, 3 gallons tomorrow, 4 gallons on Friday. That's also stupid and dangerous. No insane, like, okay, I'm going to eat a candy bar in the morning and then drink a 2-liter bottle. I've seen all this stuff, by the way. I actually saw somebody eating cotton candy backstage once. Like, he went to a carnival and had fucking cotton candy. Like, he was literally eating a thing of cotton candy.
I saw people eating some pretty weird shit.
Yeah, like, guys, like, it's not a fucking picnic. You know what I mean? Like, you're not showing up with donuts and all this weird shit that people eat. It's not going to make you look better. It's just, these are things that people are like, oh, well, I took all this Lasix, so I'm going to eat, McDonald's and fucking, Cinnabons instead so I don't cramp and fill out. I mean, you shouldn't have to do anything weird like that. You don't want to throw your body off by putting in foods that you haven't been eating. Have you been eating Cinnabons and pizza the whole diet? No, why would you throw that in the last day and see what happens? So realistically, you should be in very good shape a couple weeks out, and you'll know, like when you're in shape, you can tell just what meals make you feel better. Maybe you go out and have a steak and potato, and you're like, damn, I ate that steak and potato, and all of a sudden all my veins are coming out and feeling nice and full. Well, why would you go away from that just to try to figure out in the last couple days what kind of like special recipe you could come? And a lot of people try to make names for themselves when they're coaching by being like, oh, I have the special formula for the last few days. Like, no, you don't. There's no special formula. You want to be ready in advance so you don't have to do anything weird. The less weird stuff you do, the better. And I'll tell you that I tried to figure out all the weird stuff myself in all my earlier shows, and I ruined my physique way too many times, where I went into shows looking nasty, and then in a matter of a couple days, I just screwed myself up. And it's sad, but I would never do that to my clients. I actually took a much smarter approach with my clients because I always felt like I'm not going to experiment on this person and see what happens. They just spent 12 weeks or 16 weeks or 20 weeks training for this. The last thing I'm going to do is leave something by chance at the end.
Let's see what a Cinnabon does.
Yeah, it's just unrealistic.
We haven't tried that yet.
To think that something that like profound is going to happen is unrealistic.
All right, so we'll get on to the next question. It says, PJ, loving the podcast, gaining some really great info. Keep up the great work. So I just ordered my first cycle of Test E250. I'm running 500 milligrams per week for 10 weeks. Honestly, just trying to be in shape for the summer, and unfortunately, I always fall out of shape during the winter. I haven't set foot in a gym in over 6 months. However, the past 2 years, it has seemed much harder to get back in shape. I'm 26 at 5'10", 190 pounds, around 20% body fat. This is why I got the Test E. I usually diet clean, as in just eating complex carbs, healthy fats, etc. I don't weight my food or calculate macros, which I am working on now, seeing that it is harder to get in shape. I plan on ordering Eradicate, PCT, and Apex from you. I may also get your whey and pre-workout. My question is, do I need to take the Eradicate while running my cycle, or just have it on hand in case I start to develop gyno? I understand the PCT, just having a hard time understanding what I should do while I'm on the cycle. Thank you so much for any advice. Best regards, Cole.
Cole, my advice is, yes, you should run the Eradicate the whole time because you didn't mention anything of Arimidex, aromatase inhibitors, and so you want to prevent gyno and other unwanted estrogenic side effects from happening. And also, if the idea of a perfect physique to you is going to be as lean as possible, is what it sounds like. By taking the Eradicate, you'll get leaner faster because you're not going to be holding water and fat from the estrogen. So you may as well just take it the entire time. It's not strong enough where it's going to shut your estrogen off completely. It's just going to make it so you don't get the negative estrogenic side effects. So run the Eradicate the whole time. I would do at least 2 caps a day. You could probably push it to 4 caps a day if you're really focusing on drying out.
And that was our last question.
Yeah, guys, apologies for only 6 questions. We're 2 days earlier than normal. I didn't want to not do the show this week. I want this to be very rhythmic, and I know that you guys wait for the show, and I don't want to make the people wait another week to throw other questions in. So we did a half of the show today. I'm glad that we got it out. The guys are all leaving for the Arnold tomorrow. I'm leaving on Thursday. The booth is going to be insane. We got our Crazy Prices Right booth. We're going to be doing the ice cream at the show. The ice cream is getting so much buzz. We're excited about it. As of today, I've got WWE superstar Dana Brooks going to appear on Saturday in the booth doing autographs for a couple hours. We're probably going to do a impromptu photo shoot with L Monies and Bella Larson.
Okay.
A little boob action.
A little boob action?
A lot of boob action.
It's actually like all the boob action.
Bella's husband actually suggested it today. He goes, I think we'd get a lot of attention if we just had them start doing a shoot together in the booth. I'm like, I like your style.
Yeah, I just shout out to Trevor.
Shout out to Trevor.
I love Trevor. I think he told me he has 300 or 400 pairs of shoes.
Wow. Damn, dude, you're putting people to shame in this building.
Because he sent me a picture of these new foam posits he got, and I was like, damn, dude, those are like $250. He's like, yeah, I got me a pair for me and Bella. And I was like, damn, so you both got a pair? He was like, yeah. I was like, how many foams do you have? He's like, I think I have like 50 or 60. I was like, just foam posits? Foam posits, like the cheapest you get foam posits is like 180. It's like the cheapest I've ever seen it. It's like 180 to 250, and he has 50 to 60 pairs of them, which is absolutely absurd, and I'm extremely jealous.
But does he have a lightsaber?
He might. I don't know.
By the time this podcast comes out, you guys are gonna know all about the lightsaber.
Probably some Star Wars edition shoes. I bet.
Probably got real moon boots.
At very least.
Van Walked On by Neil Armstrong.
And the upside to us doing the podcast early this week is that next week we'll just have an extra long podcast.
That's right. Get your questions in. Last night on the Q&A, all we did was talk about tits. That was a fun episode.
Boobs.
Whole episode. Trevor Larson actually participated quite a bit in that one.
Speaking of boobs, have you ever heard of the term sweater puppets.
Yes.
Okay. See, so I've asked like 3 or 4 people in the past like 2 or 3 days if they've ever heard of that, and they're like, no, what are sweater puppets?
Solid terminology.
And Tara asked me, she's like, what are sweater puppets? I'm like, you have them. Just put a sweater on.
Yeah.
And you will be there.
They're puppets that reside inside your sweater.
So I don't know if there was any more banter you wanted to get into.
Nah, I'm in a grouchy mood today. It's not anybody's fault. I got this kid bothering me right now. I'm not going to talk about it though because I'm an OG.
Weird mustached people.
Yeah.
If you have a beard and you can grow a beard and you choose to just have an extremely long mustache like either a sheriff or like I don't know. Like sheriffs have the big long caterpillar mustache. Like if you do that and you're not a cop, you know,
yeah,
it's not.
It's like a Reno 911 mustache.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you can't. You have to have some type of authority to have that mustache.
You really should.
Like at very least.
Either that or you should be wearing like the Chips uniform and just like go around on your little electric bike.
Or like roll around with the rest of the village people.
Yes, that's exactly what you mean. All right, well, I've bantered enough and I wanted to go home before I even did the show. Sorry, guys, if it wasn't a full episode, but at least we did answer your questions. We stay on top of everybody's questions for the BPJ. And that's it, right?
That's it. We answered your questions. Peace out. Bye.
All right.